Everybody, welcome back to the next episode of Dialing In Pod Go Edition, and this time I'm going one step further in some of the new features that we have received in the firmware 1.21 update, which came out last week or the week before, maybe towards the end of the week, can't remember. Time flies by these days. All right, so today I'm taking a look at the newly added Das BENZIN amp model, which is a model of the Diesel VH4. Specifically in this video, I'm going to be looking at the Das BENZIN Mega amp model. I believe we got the Mega and the Lead, I believe is the other one that's in there. And I'm going to take a look at just how wonderful this amp model is and how lucky the folks that are Pod Go only owners have gotten with this update, because this is a really great addition and a very versatile amp, I might add, to go from nice crunch tones all the way up to like crazy all-out metal and searing lead tones. So without further ado, let's jump over to Pod Go Edit and take a look and see what we have. So what I do have here is very typical of what I usually do. I did leave something out here though that a lot of folks will know a lot of my presets for, and having the compressor at the end. The reason is I have a Line 6 Marketplace preset up right now that is available, which is the Das BENZIN Pod Go preset. And it is a more full-featured version of the preset I'm giving you today. What I have today is going to be snapshot 2 of that Marketplace preset, and this will be up on Custom Tone for free. The Marketplace preset has more in the way of effects. It has more snapshots as well, so a much more full-featured preset. But what I did do is I left out the little compressor at the end. These are pretty distorted tones. You know, I still like to have that compressor at the end, add some glue and polish to the sound, but I figured I wanted to leave some spaces open to kind of add a few other things in the Marketplace preset. So I decided to leave it out of this one too. Not that I don't like it at the end. We have to make some compromises simply because there are limitations compared to a full-blown Helix. But what I do have is I have a reverb, I have a delay, I have a tilt EQ, I have my cabinet, and I have my amp. I didn't really deal much with the wah pedal here because I dialed it into where I wanted, but it's not really part of it. It's just we have to have one in the Pod Go, so there it is. So let's start at the end here. What I did is I put my plate reverb with a decay of 5, pre-delay of 90 milliseconds, low cut of 100 hertz, high cut of 2.5 kilohertz, mix of 30%, and the trails on. And I like that. I mean, if you find it's too much, maybe too long a reverb, you can just bring the decay back, or if you find there's too much of it, bring your mix back and you can adjust it to your tastes. I tried something cool on this. I threw in a vintage digital delay, which is kind of a cool delay that you can turn on or off depending on whether you're using this for lead or rhythm, whether you want delay on or off. I set the note sync as always and as usual to a quarter note. I have the feedback at 36%, bit depth at 12, sample rate at 8 kilohertz, mix at 38%. Rate at 0.2 hertz on the modulation section of it, depth at 2, scale at 100%, headroom at 6 dB to avoid any of the digital artifacts that are built into this plugin if with the certain settings. Now, you'll notice up here I have a tempo of 190. I could also just bring that down. I had that set because later in the video I'm going to show you what this preset sounds like in a mix with the Marketplace preset version of this demo video, so you can kind of hear how it works. And that song that I did had a tempo of 190, that's why I had it set there, but you can set it to however you need. The other thing I did is I brought in a tilt EQ with the center frequency at 650 hertz. A lot of folks might ask why I didn't use a shelf EQ. Well, the shelf EQ's high frequency only goes as low as 2 kilohertz, and I like to kind of have that center frequency in and around 650 hertz. And I set it to bright 50. So basically with the center point at 650 hertz, by doing that, it's boosting all of the frequencies above 650 hertz by so much and reducing all the frequencies below that by so much. And I found this bright 50 setting, which might seem kind of extreme at first, actually worked really nice to help this sit in the mix and cut in the mix. Now, one of the reasons I may have had to go that bright is because I used one of my favorite mics. The cab I used was the 412 Uber V30, which is a really nice cab. But I put a 4038 ribbon mic on it, 5 inches back. Now, you might say, well, what does that have to do with anything? Well, the 4038 is a very bassy, boomy, possibly even muddy sounding mic, lacking a lot of high end. But I love it for what it does to the bottom end of the sound, and we can easily EQ more of the highs and upper mids back in, which is what I used the tilt EQ for. So I really decided this was a good place to start. Low cut at 110 hertz, high cut at 9 kilohertz, and then in conjunction with that tilt EQ, really kind of brought it to life. And I'll show you an example of sort of before and after the tilt EQ in a moment. And then onto the amp, we have the BENZIN Mega. Drive at 7, bass at 6.4, mid at 6.5, treble at 7, presence at 6.7, channel volume at 9.6, master at 5. I'm not sure if the stock settings that come up on the deeper functions, deep, sag, ripple, bias, X, I know I did play with that. I can't remember if these are the stock settings that come up. But anyways, the deep control is at 5, sag at 3.5, ripple at 5, bias at 5, bias X at 5. So let's do this. Let's turn our reverb off, keep our delay off, and we'll turn our tilt EQ off as well. And the basic raw amp tone with the particular cab and mic selection I had sounds like this. So really nice core tone, but you really can hear with that 4038 ribbon. If I pull that back to 1 inch, you'll really hear how it gets really boomy and kind of muddy. So I find with that mic, it's always important to pull it back a number of inches. I mean, sometimes you can even go all the way with it. Your volume level drops a bit, but I found here at 5 inches for this one worked really nicely. But then bringing in the tilt EQ really brought it to life. So here it is without first. With it. Without. Here it's kind of muddy, lacks some clarity. There is some nice quality about the low end that I didn't want to totally get rid of. Nice stuff. I was really liking the way that sounded. Okay, bring in the plate reverb. Now, as I was mentioning, if you want a little less on the decay, you can always bring that down. Which still works nicely. I was kind of liking it a little higher. Or if you like the decay longer, you can always bring your mix down. She's just going to give it a drier feel overall, but I was kind of liking it there. And then I also added in this delay, the vintage delay. Using the 12-bit setting, setting the sample rate to 8 kilohertz kind of gives it that darker sound, not so pristine. And I find with those settings, the delay kind of sits underneath and doesn't get too much in the way of what you're playing. I was having a lot of fun with that preset. So if you guys want to hear how this sounds now in a mix, this is Snapshot 2. So I use this in conjunction with the other snapshots of my Line 6 Marketplace Das BENZIN Pod Go preset, which is available now in the Marketplace, and it sounds like this. So what do you guys think? I thought that turned out kind of nice, a little bit of a Judas Priest inspired piece of music that I wrote. Had a lot of fun playing it, had a lot of fun writing it, and had a lot of fun using this preset. So this preset that I showed you today will be up on Custom Tone. It's a single snapshot version, what you heard in the video today. And also in a link below in the description will be a link to the full-blown Line 6 Marketplace version of that if you want to go grab a copy of that. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video and you enjoy this preset as much as I enjoyed making it. What a fun amp model, and super happy for all the Pod Go users that they finally get this. Something that us Helix users have had for a while. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Please like the video, share it with anybody who you think would get use out of it or enjoyment out of it. Please subscribe to the channel. Hit the little bell notification and notify when I put new content out, and I will be back really soon with some more content. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Ciao for now.